Hey, YouTube family, and welcome to another Kevin Strong show. I typically don't do political videos, but hey, never say never. So, first of all, this video is going to deal with the female component because that was such a hot topic going into the election. But before we get into the video, let me make a couple announcements. I was wrong. I got on Facebook and said July 15th, I thought Harris would win, not because I'm a supporter. I consider myself someone in the middle. I was looking at charts and some other analysis, and I thought that she would win. I got that completely wrong, so I will eat crow. I lost 2 bets. I went double or nothing with a coworker on a coffee bet, lost that one, and I actually betted a guy $100 that Harris would win. She didn't, obviously. The next day I paid him, gave him a stock tip to short CVS Pharmacy. He made $1,600 in less than 24 hours. And homie didn't even give me my money back. So what are you going to do? So if you're new to the show, welcome. We're going to jump right into this. This is going to get a little bit spicy. I'm going to try to stay neutral as possible. But there's just so much hypocrisy in the aftermath of this election. I just wanted to address it. But like I said earlier, the main focus of this video is talking about how the female vote broke out for Harris and Biden. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and slide over here and take a look at this article. And as you can see here, the title of this, How Female Voters Broke for Harris and Trump. And I think there's like 4 bullet points. So we're just going to briefly go over them. I'm going to add my little editorial to this. And then obviously at the end of the video, if you'd like to share your opinions about what's going on, I think the country has always been divided. I do not see this country as being racist. I do not see this country as being oppressive to the point where people who have been marginalized in the past don't have any ability to succeed and stride through hard work and sacrifice. Are there obstacles there? Absolutely. Is it fair in a vacuum? Absolutely not. But the opportunity is there, in my humble opinion. The first point, women voted for the Democrat candidate, but in smaller margins. So let's take a look at this. It says women did indeed show up to support Harris, but in smaller numbers than her Democratic predecessor. While Hillary Clinton won women by 13 points in 2016 and Biden by 15 in 2020. So that's pretty much in line, right? You've got a white female and a white male pretty much in line, right? 13 and 15 points. Harris secured them by just 10 points. So significantly worse for her than Biden and Hillary Clinton. What is my feedback on that? What happened in 2008 with Obama? Was the country racist then? And he got reelected. So he spent 8 years in the White House. This is what I'm talking about. I think the reason why Hillary did so much better than Harris, in my humble opinion, has absolutely nothing to do with her color. I think it has more to do with Hillary, like her lover. She is an astute politician, understands how to work around DC and get things done, and just is a better political opponent for Republican adversary compared to Harris. I think Harris did a poor job of answering questions. We all know that. We don't know what she stood for. She was just anointed. She didn't go through the democratic process in the primary of getting elected. I think there's a lot of moving variables as to why she fared so poorly on November 4th, 2024. And to just marginalize that by just saying that the country's racist or misogynist, I don't subscribe to that. I just think she just wasn't the best candidate for the Democratic Party to go against newly elected Donald Trump. Okay, the second point, white women are still voting for Republican candidates. And it says basically over the last 72 years, Democrat candidate only twice in 64 and 66. So traditionally, white women in aggregate vote for Republicans. But once again, if this has been the running rule, so to speak, and they've only broke away in 64 and 66, how do you explain that They didn't break away in 2008, but despite that, Obama was elected and he got reelected. The reason why I keep bringing up this point is that there's so much hypocrisy that's going on with this, and people are not looking at it in its totality. That's just my humble opinion. Trump did better with younger women than he did in 2020. Once again, white women vote for Republicans. We understand that. The younger group came out and supported Trump, more so when he ran in 2020. So I guess all of that free stuff that the Democratic Party was trying to buy votes with student loan forgiveness didn't work. Because regardless if you're young, regardless if you're old, regardless if you're white or black, regardless if you're whatever your sexual orientation is, when you see inflation eating away at your disposable income, when you see the ability to possibly have a home as a part of the American dream becoming the American nightmare and never seeing yourself owning a home, these are things that you're confronted with on a daily basis. And it's easy to talk about that B word, that some people are pro-choice and pro-life, but at the end of the day, when your kid wakes up and tells you he's hungry and you don't have enough money to feed him, you're not talking about your choices. That's not the priority. Not to say it's not important. I'm not going down that rabbit hole, but clearly people felt that inflation, the economy, and things of that nature were more pressing issues than some of the other things that the Democratic Party through Harris was trying to champion as the main interest as to why she should become the next president. Harris suffered significant losses among both Latino women and men. Latino men in particular veered hard to the right in 2016. Clinton won Latino men by 31 points. By 2020, their support for Democrats had cooled somewhat as Biden won them by 23 points. Harris won Latino women by 24 points, a victory that pales in comparison to Clinton's 44 points. So once again, this is why I'm saying Hillary Clinton, by and large, if you're being objective, can run circles around Harris from a political astute standpoint. And even people who are considered the minority in this country, specifically when we're talking about Latinos, understood that. That's why Clinton got a bigger amount of their support than Harris. I don't think this has anything to do with color. Last but not least, Black women are the most reliable Democratic voters. We all know this. They're saying that Harris won by 85%. I don't have any really thing to add towards that. Obviously, I got on Facebook and was talking about how I think this might have been a self-sabotage by a Barack Obama telling Black men why they needed to vote. I don't know if that was true or not. It was kind of funny that Jill, I think is her name is, Jill Biden, Joe Biden's wife, went to the polls and was wearing red. I don't know if you guys seen that. I think she was not happy that her husband basically was forced, for lack of better words, to get out of the election and give it to Harris. I don't think she was comfortable with it at all. I'm not saying that they preferred her to lose to Trump, but I think they wanted either Biden to go against him because he is the only one who's beaten Trump. He can say that, rightly or wrongly. And more importantly, she didn't go through the Democratic primary process. So there's been a lot of things I'm sure you guys have seen, a lot of emotional meltdowns, typically more so on the left. And what I'm noticing is that there's some mental health issues there. When you get to that extreme, when you're screaming and crying and all that, and it's kind of like, I don't understand it. And I don't see that on the right. Once again, I don't consider myself leaning one way or the other. I'm kind of like in the middle. But I didn't see when Trump lost the hyperbole and all of the just the mental health breakdown on social media that you're experiencing by a lot of people who supported Vice President Harris. Like I said, I don't think the country's racist. If you can't use that as your narrative, and if you use that as your narrative, you're gonna have to explain to me how Obama got elected twice. That everybody thought that was going to be finally the thing that brings this country together. We're more divided now than we ever have been before. Most of the states, as you've seen on the electoral map went red. And I think that was more so because they can resonate with him. The inflation aspect, wages not keeping up with inflation, food prices, things of that nature. What I think is good about the presidency, from my standpoint, if I'm being agnostic, is that taxes will probably go down. Capital gains tax will not go down. I am slowly contemplating, maybe thinking about doing something in real estate, because the Seattle market, as I said earlier, I do not think it's going to see that much of a pullback. There's still a great desire for people to live in this Puget Sound area. And I think home prices in the long run will continue to go up. But as I was talking to one of my subscribers, the one lady I told you is accumulated about $15 million of liquid cash through real estate investing over the last couple of years. She's like, hey, why don't you think about getting back in real estate? And I was like, no, I just, you got tenants, trash, and just clicking buttons, what I do on the stock market. It's just so more efficient, so efficient. So I'm not going to say never say never, but I don't think so. But I'm going to leave that open. And I'm more open to it now because of Donald Trump, because the other side was talking about taxing unrealized gains, capital gains tax. All of these things are very, very, very harmful to the real estate market. Now that that's off the table, at least for the immediate future, for the next 4 years, that was my rationale of saying maybe I wanted to consider maybe getting like a 3 or 4-plex somewhere in the probably Pierce County area if I was to decide to do something like that. So kind of a different show. Wanted to kind of give my take. Like I said, once again, I did get that wrong. I wanted to be the first to acknowledge that. I was purely doing that based on data and charts. It wasn't based on typical political view. So at the end of the day, we all have to take care of ourselves. We all have to take care of our families. And those of you who are getting so emotional over this, especially those people who are just off to the left, no pun intended, that's to me a clear indication you have not taken ownership of your life, because there's no way anybody should be reacting that way because this man won. Just like when Biden won last time in 2020, if you're on the right, you shouldn't have got on the media crying and saying, kill this guy and all this other crazy stuff. I wasn't hearing that type of verbiage from the right when they lost in 2020. Yes, I understand what happened in January 6th, but that's a very, very fractional amount of people. There's a lot of black females that are getting on social media telling other black females you need to divorce your husband if you voted for Donald Trump. I've had a buddy of mine said he was trying to date, got on a dating site, and all of these women in Washington are telling him, if you voted for Trump, don't even respond to my profile. So you're not concerned about STDs. You're not concerned about him being faithful. You're not concerned about him being gainfully employed. He doesn't have to be 6 feet tall, make 6 figures, and have a 6-pack. You just want him to vote the right way. I mean, you just cannot make this shit up in terms of what's really important. So like I said, people who are getting too emotional about this, to me, are sending a clear signal they have not taken ownership. And if you have a plan, and your plan was based on either either Trump winning or Harris winning, and your candidate didn't win, then reassess your plan. But by all means, keep moving forward. Don't take a step back. Keep your credit score up and your debt down. This was the Kevin Strong Show. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up, hit the bell notification. I do release my videos once a week. Have a great day. Have a prosperous 2025, and your problems and your solutions are always in the mirror. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.